According to a report published this week by Kroll, the security experts, the number of cyber attacks against companies doubled last year. That highlights just how crucial the role of the Chief Information Security Officer in companies is becoming today. In this latest episode of the FT's CISO series, I talked to David Cass, the Chief Information Security Officer of Elsevier, the European publishing group. David's background is in the financial services industry, so I asked him about the differences in corporate security between banking and the publishing sector.
So from a security point of view, I think there's a lot that Elsevier can do to innovate and leverage some of the newer technologies, whereas from the banking and financial services sector, being a heavily regulated industry, you have a lot of regulators and guidelines that clearly dictate what you need to adhere to. And within Elsevier, we do have some regulated companies that are regulated under HIPAA, and it's fairly clear of how we need to operate those organizations as well.
So how has the threat landscape changed, and do you see more attempts at getting into Elsevier's information?
So I think that the landscape in general is changing of how you use the computing resources. So I think that's helping change the threat picture overall. A lot of organizations, including ourselves, are looking at how do you move into cloud computing and leverage the additional availability of large elastic computing resources. So as part of that, that kind of changes the role of the CISO from the point of view we have to take a revisit of how we do information security, because you don't have the same tools necessarily available of putting things around the perimeter in your own data center. So I think as you move to the more innovative solutions, you really have to focus on how do you protect the data itself and putting application security at the front of any application that you develop from the very beginning.
That's very interesting. Do you view the cloud as inherently less secure or more secure, or does it really depend?
So I think the answer is it depends. I think like anything, it's a maturing product. So I think the transparency is improving on what people are doing within a different cloud from the cloud providers, and I think it's going to get better and better. I think some of the areas that we're helping drive some maturity in and trying to figure out how do you do information security within the cloud context. How do you conduct logging, monitoring, auditing? How do you pen test things that are out in a cloud provider? So those are all aspects that we have to look at, as well as we look at the additional quick time to market as these resources get spun up very, very fast. Yeah. How are they managed?
So in Elsevier, what is the role of the Chief Information Security Officer, and who do you report to?
So I actually report to the General Counsel.
Okay.
So Elsevier has taken a very forward-looking approach to it, where information security and data protection and privacy are combined into one. Because really in today's age, with everything being data-related, security and privacy go hand in hand. So we've taken that approach, and it allows me to really give an independent view and be a colleague and a peer to the CIO. So as we're moving things into the cloud or moving applications into the cloud or leveraging mobile technology, I can bring an independent view to it and help the business meet its goals, but just make sure that we're doing it in a smart and secure manner.
That's the first time I've encountered that sort of reporting structure. Is it unusual?
So it's new for me, and I think it's a very progressive approach. I'm now at Elsevier for 2 years, and I think it's been a very good approach as far as getting us the right level of visibility with the business unit itself and kind of peering us with the information technology group. For our industry right now, and the fact that we're developing a lot of applications that are leveraging our content, I'd say this arrangement works very well. It allows us to focus on privacy, compliance, and security, and it allows the technology team to innovate, and we have to help innovate along with them.
Yeah, I'm interested in the concept of security and information protection, privacy being sort of one part of a continuum. Can you be more specific?
So really, it's a function of how the team is structured. So I have parts of my team are dedicated to information security. We have our data protection officer also that's part of my team and reports to me, and we have legal senior compliance counsel that's part of the team as well, in addition to an application security center of excellence and a risk and assurance group. So what this allows us to do is really look at all the aspects from, are we building security into the application development, how do we test that application, and then looking at it from the point of view of what are the privacy concerns, what information do these applications collect, if any, or if it's an application that our customers give us data we can look at how we're protecting that content as well.
Right.
So it's really been a very good fit.
Right. And how do you see that evolving? Do you think that there will be any changes in the next 5 years in terms of privacy requirements, for example?
So I think when you take a look to what's going on in the Asia Pacific region, they're introducing more and more privacy regulation, and some that's even more stringent than what's going on in the EU. So I think that'll be an additional challenge for any kind of global company,
right.
Especially like Elsevier, where we operate a number of different applications. We also operate a large amount of different internet-facing domains where you have to review everything from looking at the cookies, looking at the privacy policy, looking at how do you allow people to opt out.
David, thank you very much indeed for your help.
Oh, thank you.